Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Ichimi Talks. And today we're going to be discussing One Piece. We're going to be talking about One Piece from start to finish, and this is going to be in a series of episodes. And we're going to be focusing today on the anime only, but for the future episodes, we're going to be talking about manga for the purpose of making it a faster journey for consumption-wise. So we're doing this because I myself haven't started One Piece, and I've been against it only because it's a very long series, like many others. However, I have two One Piece connoisseurs here who have finished the series and are coming with me for this journey to do it from start to finish again. And that's what this is.
Yeah, you might think
Hold
we're
on.
crazy for rereading all of One Piece, but it's a thing us One Piece fans are willing to do.
Exactly. You've called on the right people, unlike one other person who spent all time on the anime.
Aside from that, naming the channel is, what was it from it, Davide?
What, Ichimi?
Yeah, the crew.
Ichimi is based on when I'm watching the One Piece anime, and all I hear is the Mugiwara no Ichimi, the Mugiwara group, Straw Hat crew, stuff like that. So yeah, we're the group, we're the crew,
And we talk.
but in Japanese. Yeah, we talk anime, manga,
Exactly.
Dokkan in the future, stuff
Nope.
like that.
So, let's talk about what we read. So, I believe this episode's gonna be probably the lengthiest out of the bunch because it is covering a good chunk of the beginning, I think. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what chapter we're gonna be leaving off of, but for future episodes, we're gonna have a consistent amount of chapters covered till the end. So, that's gonna be good for consistency. And the purpose of this is for the journey that we were taking with each other and for newcomers to join in case you are also interested in hopping on the One Piece train in the future, or for any other anime and manga we talk about, or gaming, or anything else we really want to do. It's going to be a mix of all sorts of content that we do on a daily basis anyways. We're just deciding now to make it a weekly special video to see how it goes. But starting with One Piece, can we give an introduction?
Alright, well, the beginning of One Piece starts off with Roger.
Yeah, man. All right, so next we got Kobe.
That-
how do you guys like Kobe, man?
No, I don't know, man.
Hey man, I like Kobe.
You like Kobe in the first arc.
Hey, we got the boy, man. We got the boy Kobe. The one who, without him, there's a certain character that probably Luffy would not have met at the time. Think of it like that.
I
Yeah,
guess you could say that.
Kobe's. To me, I just see him
Exactly.
as a filler character for now.
Yeah, that's all you can see him as in this first arc. He's just there, just to provide another role, another character to fill the
Yeah.
place. Yeah, but characters that aren't filler characters, the red hair pirates.
The
What do you got?
red.
How do you guys
hair-
like the red hair pirates?
How do we like the red hair pirates? Let's see here. The red hair pirates. We got a variety of them over here. There we got the sniper. We got the fat one. We got the
What
guy
do you mean
eating
the fat one? Put some
I ain't
respect on them. Name them. What are we doing?
I ain't gonna
All right,
lie.
let me do the red hair pirates justice.
Alright,
so,
you can do some red hair
Of
pirates.
the ones that we at this point in the story we know their names is Shanks, Ben Beckman,
Yasa.
Lucky Roo, and Yasop. That's all we know at this point in the story. But
Right.
way down the line, we get a few more names for the other guys. But yeah, what are your thoughts on everybody? Obviously, your thoughts are probably gonna be with Shanks. He's obviously the main focus of them. He's a
Listen.
captain.
I think when you first see Shanks, alright, you first think of him as like, oh, a goofy character, man. He just likes to have around, drink beer and all that. But when the boy gets serious, he get the shit done, alright? At the moment with the bandits, yo, he didn't really care. But when Luffy though, when he sees young Luffy get hurt or some shit, he's like, oh nah, boy, I'ma fuck you up.
That brings us perfectly into our next point. Shanks giving Luffy the straw hat.
Exactly.
Very iconic
The
thing.
iconic hat.
Yeah, the
Probably
straw
for
hats.
Dorian,
iconic
it's not
enough.
as iconic because he hasn't been through the journey yet.
It's the
So-
Mugiwara. You see.
Yeah, I mean the hat already has a lot of meaning in One Piece, but now it makes a lot more sense because
It
you,
has so much meaning to where Chris had to buy his own Mugiwara just to have it placed on a shelf.
Yeah. But then, you know, we're in this flashback kind of thing with kid Luffy, and he eats what we would like to call the Gomu Gomu no Mi, the Gum Gum fruit. That's his power. That's a devil fruit. It's part of the power system in One Piece, if you didn't know. So, what do you guys think of his
Let's-
very unique power?
Let's be honest. When we first saw this power, I ain't gonna lie, like we didn't think much about it. It was a strange power to give to the main character. You know, you didn't think much. Then you can see all varieties he can really do with the Gomu Gomu no Mi. Like with his power of being rubber. There's a lot of advantages of being a rubber man. But one disadvantage, obviously, when it comes to all devil fruits, is that their inability to swim. Yeah, that sea no longer loves you, man. when you
That's
eat that
exactly the
shit.
reason why, when Luffy asked to join Shanks' crew, he said he can't. He can't even swim. You're not joining my crew. Then
Yeah.
Luffy he spits the obvious. Oh, I'm gonna be the pirate king, and then Shanks gives him the hat.
Yeah.
Very good moment.
I do like devil fruits over quirks, I think, because there is that sacrifice of not being able to swim, as in like being rejected by the sea. So it kind of gives also meaning to the power than just, oh, you have a power and that's it.
Yeah, and another thing is you don't need a devil fruit at all. You don't need a power like that.
You don't need to, but we'll get to that at some point.
Next,
Well,
we got
Next
the whole.
up, we got Alvida.
No.
we're
You're out
at
of
it there
you're out of
now.
order. You're out of order.
Wait,
What are you
What do you
doing?
mean? We got we're
You're out of
past,
order, you're
like,
out of
Shanks saving
Alright,
Luffy or
No,
what?
no. Next, we got the mountain bandits and Higuma. We got that whole little kerfuffle between, you know, the people of the village and the bandits. What do you think about that whole little scuffle in the bar, that whole scene, and Shanks' reaction and stuff like that?
Let's be honest, like, if we're being honest, the fucking mountain bandits just really overreacted to them and not having really any more booze. They were just like, damn, this motherfucking pirate over here just drank all my shit. I want to fucking kill his ass. Because Shanks just does not give a fuck. He knows what he could do to the man. If he wanted to, he could easily kill him. But he's
Yeah,
just
Shanks,
like, eh.
Shanks takes it all as a joke.
Yeah.
He gets alcohol poured all over him. He laughs it off, and everyone's like, "What do you?" Or Luffy specifically.
Nah, it's mainly
is
Luffy.
confused.
Luffy
It's
is the one that's
confused.
just like, yo, the fuck is like, what are you fucking laughing at? You just got embarrassed. And then just Shanks just like, who cares?
Yeah.
It
And then
ain't a
obviously
big
this
deal.
whole thing leads to Iguma kidnapping Luffy. He throws him into the water. and as
fucking
Luffy's about to
struggling
be
keep himself
killed-
up.
As Luffy's about to be killed by what we like to call the Lord of the Coast, that is the official name of that monster. Shanks, you know, he hops in and he scares off the monster. But at the end
I
of
wonder
that,
what he did to scare off that monster though.
he's just scary, dude. And
He's just scared.
but then he loses his arm. He sacrificed his arm for the new generation of pirates.
It's not like he needed that arm anyway. He could do as much damage with just one arm than he did with two.
I don't know, man.
I feel like if he had a second arm, he would have just been too overpowered, man. He would have just killed everything. They basically had to handicap the man.
Guess you could say that. So now on to everybody's favorite main villain of One Piece. We have Alvida.
Alvida, let's go.
Big female pirate.
Big female pirate.
Big,
Yo,
big is an understatement.
Yeah.
hey, Kobe, who's the prettiest of all of land? Kobe calls her a fat fucking whore. Fucking Luffy just basically whoops her ass easily.
We go
And that's when
we go to the marine base, and that's where we meet. So we got Helmeppo, we got Morgan, main villain, has a fucking axe, as a
Axe
hand.
for an arm, hand,
Yeah.
whatever, really.
Very
That's-
menacing
that's cool.
first.
Axe Hand Morgan. That's his
Yeah.
name.
Exactly. That man was getting ready to, execute Zoro, but Luffy comes in, fucking saves the day, fucking reflect like launches the bullets back to them. Zoro gets confused as hell and wonders what the hell is this man made of.
Yeah,
turns
very
around.
good first look at Luffy in action, and we get to see his utility of his double fruit powers.
And then he didn't know what sword to really get Zoro, but then Zoro's like, nah, they're all mine. Don't worry.
Yeah, he grabs all three swords. You never really see a three-sword user in anime, but that's what you come to One Piece for.
Exactly.
And then, that all transitions into Zoro, joining the crew.
The crew.
which is
At one point, Zoro was like, so how many of us are there? And then just Luffy casually is like, nah, it's just the two of us.
yeah.
Just
And
like that.
obviously, Zoro joins Luffy, and then Luffy beats Morgan. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
And after all that, we got the main character, Kobe, and he joins the Navy. And that pretty much wraps up this arc, because after this,
Jordan's screaming.
Zoro and Luffy leave the town, and they're on to their next arc. And that would be Orange Town. Some of our favorite arcs
Oh
in
my
all of One
God.
Piece, because there's a certain special someone in this arc.
Yes. Captain Buggy, the clown.
Man. Oh my god. Oh my fuck. Oh my god. That is the scariest shit.
I don't
Oh,
think he likes
gee.
Buggy.
Yeah, I don't think.
I don't think so either, man. I think he was disappointed that Buggy might have done something to the One Piece, but we won't get to that yet. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so this arc starts out. We got what do you call it?
Oh my
Luffy and
fuck.
Zoro. They arrive at Orange Town, is what it's called, and Nami's there. And Luffy, being kind of clueless, just lets Nami pretty much take him to Buggy, and Nami turns Luffy into Buggy for her
Just
own
like that.
benefit.
One more
And-
key thing about Captain Buggy is he's revealed to be the second Devil Fruit user that we see in the anime. So we get to see a side-by-side comparison of Devil Fruit powers for the first time. And we will see more in the future, but this is the first look at another Devil Fruit user. And we get to see the power scaling with these type of powers. And Captain Buggy's power is pretty unique for different animes that I've seen. But aside from Luffy being turned in from no reason, just him being an airhead, we see... What's the next thing that happens after that?
Doesn't Luffy he moves his way off the building?
Jesus Christ.
And he does not like the Orange Town arc, dude.
Why the fuck are you screaming? Oh, jeez. Alright, my apologies there. My brother has a tantrum at the moment. Back to what we were talking about. Buggy, yes. Devil.
Oh, yeah.
Fruit.
Yeah, well, let's go back on the Devil Fruit real quick. It's called the Chop Chop Fruit, Bara Bara no Mi, whatever language you speak. And
This devil fruit allows him to split his body apart.
yeah, you can split his body like anywhere. And it's kind of unique. Well, it's not unique for
It's
me,
kinda
because at the
like-
beginning, it's like very similar to Luffy's, because he has like no way of getting hit if he knows how to use it correctly, and Luffy has no way of getting hurt either. So it's kind of similar in that way, but it has like multiple uses as well
Yeah.
of how he could like separate his body parts and stuff like that.
But the
But
thing
yeah.
is, though, one thing that's kind of used is that even though if he leaves a small part behind and that part gets hit, he obviously still feels the damage.
Yeah,
And kicked it in the nuts for one of them. That's some damage already right there. That's for sure.
yeah. So next, if I remember correctly, Luffy he scoots his way off the top of the building where Nami's talking to Buggy, and he's in this cage pretty much. He falls down, and they're in front of this dog food shop, and that's where we meet this very legendary character, Choo Choo, who has a good voice actor in my opinion. Very good voice actor.
Yeah, very good dog voices, sounds.
And then, not much to go off there. And then Luffy pretty much gets broken out of the cage by the lion, if I remember correctly. This lion belonging to this character called Moji. And Luffy, he makes light work of Moji. He beats him. He pretty much makes the lion fall to his obedience, pretty much.
Yeah,
And-
just like that.
Yeah, because Luffy's Luffy. Yeah, next we got Zoro. He fights another member of the Buggy Pirates, and he's kind of a weird guy. He's on a unicycle all the time, but he's a swordsman. So we get Zoro's first matchup, and his name is Kabaji. And if I remember correctly, Zoro was wounded here, but I don't remember what he was wounded from. And because I remember Kabaji like specifically targeting that wound during the fight.
Right.
Do you guys remember what he was injured from?
No, I have no clue, but that's just
Probably
the little
an old
details, I
wound.
guess.
And after this,
Yeah,
after
we
the
learned
Buggy fight-
Buggy was an acquaintance of Shanks, and we get a little flashback of before Buggy was a devil fruit user, and we get to see him trying to smuggle a devil fruit, and he had a fake one prepared in case something was going on, and he
This is the moment that we were talking about.
yeah, Buggy,
Buggy,
consumes
he
the
consumed
fruits.
the One Piece.
He just
the One
eats the
Piece,
One
right?
Piece. Is what
Yeah,
he
as
eats.
you,
like
can, as
that.
you can probably see on your screen
one-
now, it is quite the picture.
He literally just eats the One Piece. That right there, you all thought the One Piece was just treasure. Nah, the One Piece was just that specific devil fruit, and Buggy ate it. He consumed that shit fucking whole.
Yeah.
He even put his fucking entire hand inside that mouth too. Add a
And
bit more
let's
to
let's
it.
just let's just say Buggy has some throat on him. Let's just say that, because he swallows that 2-foot diameter devil fruit in nothing. He has
Just like
he
that.
has some skills, I guess you could say.
Buggy's a skilled devil fruit user.
Very skilled.
That covers basically everything for episode 1 of the One Piece journey.